Good morning, wrestling fans, and welcome to a very, very special edition of PWR Today with Matthew Thomas and Linda Kay. Linda, how are you doing this wonderful Wednesday morning, I think we're June 8th now, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you what makes this morning super duper special.
Oh, I just said that. I just made it up, But it's a special morning. Every morning you get to see the sunrise is a very, very special morning. And this morning's no different. And it's even more special because, hey, maybe you were thinking about getting you some cool collar and elbow brand gear like you and I have and the man they call Meathead has, but you're like, I don't believe in paying for shipping. It's just something that's against my moral compass. Well, today is your lucky day. If you enter promo code, what's the promo code over there at Collar and Elbow, Linda?
Oh, well, for the free shipping promo. So you still have today to take advantage of that from our wonderful partners at Collar and Elbow. Make sure to go to collarandelbowbrand.com. Check out the latest and greatest in wrestling street fashion. To save shipping today, use promo code READY22 to save shipping on the purchase of 2 items. I mean, that's 2 items. And outside of that, if you always want that opportunity to save 10% off your order, you can always use promo code LindaK. That's LINDAKAY.
Exactly. I mean, the choice is yours. There's so many ways to save. Maybe you're going to order a bunch of stuff and come out better by entering that promo code and saving the 10%. Or maybe, maybe it's part of your moral compass to pay for shipping. You're like, I really believe in the Postal Service or Federal Express or UPS or DHL. I don't. Does Collar and Elbow brand, do they use DHL? Maybe they do. I don't know.
I believe it's U.S. Postal Service from what I recall when I get my Collar and Elbow shipments.
Yeah, the only
it's
one
fast.
I haven't. Yeah, as long as it's not on track. I had some kind of iffy experience. On track one time left a Christmas tree in a publicly accessible doorway, which thankfully I got it before anybody stole my Christmas tree. But yeah, you got to secure Christmas trees. You can't just leave them laying in public for anybody to take, especially around the holiday season. But I will tell you, if you have been a little bit confused, Linda, about when Rampage airs, thanks to the team of the Colorado Avalanche, you never have to worry about when Rampage airs, because breaking news as of right now, Rampage is back to its normal time of 10 Eastern on Friday. No more having to find it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, or 6 or 7. Yep, 10 o'clock p.m. Rampage back to its normal airing time on TNT. Thanks to your Colorado Avalanche for clinching the series on Monday night.
You mean your Colorado Avalanche?
Yes, my Colorado. Well, I have a hard time with that because I technically don't play on the team. And I really hesitate to say mine or ours,
Oh, I did hear you and Meathead talking about that. Kind of like,
yes.
With Raw just being in the great city of Green Bay, Wisconsin, and having some of the Packers right at ringside. A lot of us here in Wisconsin like to say, we lost, or along those lines that you may not like. But I digress. I was just saying, because you living in the great state of Colorado, that the Avalanche, yours, if you know what I mean. But
yeah, you know what? I'll claim them. I can't say that I am a hockey expert, if you will. But my goodness, it feels good to have a team in the Stanley Cup Finals, any finals of any professional sports. I know that's actually not an uncommon thing for you folk there in the Milwaukee area.
Well, most recently last year with the Bucks winning the championship, close this time, but not this year. But that's all right, because you know what? It's right around the corner. Yesterday, the Packers reported for training camp. Here we go. It's almost football season. Can you believe it?
Linda, are you an official owner of the Packers? Because the Packers are a publicly owned team, correct?
They are. I did miss that deadline. There was that recent buy-in. I missed it, but that's okay. I've just been very, really busy with this life on the road with wrestling that I missed my calling my cue there with becoming a partial owner of the Packers. But that's okay, because we are here to talk about wrestling, which is what we love. And let's
We
do it.
we are, and this is the fallout from NXT in your house. So this is I don't know if this is NXT out of your house or NXT the house next door or this old house or whatever the official title for last night's show should be called. But it did kick off with our new North American champion. Now, I completely missed the boat on this last week. I thought they were setting us up for Cameron Grimes and Solo Sikoa. But no, Cameron Grimes, he lost his title. Carmelo Hayes, your new North American champion, to kick off the show. Now, we know who got next, as the cool kids say, and that was Solo Sikoa, who came out and interrupted him. But he would soon be interrupted by Grayson Waller. Now, we didn't quite know in what capacity, but this would set up a match of some sorts towards the end of the show. So, Linda, just your thought on Carmelo Hayes as the champion and the fact that we are getting the program of him and Solo sooner rather than later. And Cameron Grimes really MIA from NXT last night.
Yeah, that was a little surprising, but I personally love Carmelo Hayes as the A champion. He just represents that and just portrays that so well, that just what he makes of that North American championship, that it is the A title there at NXT. So I am happy he won it back. And the whole thing with Cameron Grimes and Solo Sikoa, a lot of us did think that it would play out that way after In Your House, but maybe they saw it that, Cameron Grimes won. I mean, he's already getting just so much heat from the crowd, so many boos, that it just, leading into his match with Solo, it just too one-sided, or just not as you just figure that Solo would win. Like, it might
Yeah.
be like, I don't say too obvious, but just because it's not like the crowd dictates necessarily who wins and loses, but there's some persuasion there. So having Carmelo Hayes in this program with Solo, I like it personally better between the
Yeah.
two of them, and then throwing Trick Williams in there as well. So I'm good with that. But one thing I will mention about the beginning of NXT last night is having Todd Pettingill, his voice at least,
Yes.
recapping
Oh,
In Your House. So
oh my
that brought
goodness.
back
Can we just get
memories.
into, if I need to get a petition together or something, I'm perfectly fine with Penn Gale recapping everything on a weekly basis. Let Penn Gale do the voiceovers for every program. Like, it gave me such a wonderful, peaceful place of nostalgia listening to that. It was absolutely outstanding. And I think you really alluded to, I mean, yeah, it's kind of his moniker, but I think you can make a case for Hayes as that title holder, making that the A title. At least last night, I mean, what title book ended your show? I mean, it was Carmelo Hayes up front and Carmelo Hayes at the end. And I think at least in the last few feuds with Braun Breaker, it doesn't seem like it's necessarily gotten the attention that the North American title has gotten. So I think Carmelo Hayes as your champion, you can definitely make a case for that being the A title. And I think they made the right choice by putting the belt on Hayes and let Grimes go out and do his own thing. He doesn't need to be in Solo Sikoa's orbit. We know
Yeah.
how the NXT universe is going to react to that. So give us something different. I think that'll benefit everybody. Somebody who got a great benefit last night was Josh Briggs, actually getting the surprise victory over Von Wagner. Not quite a clean win, but he picked up the win after a bit of an assist from Brooke Jensen's cast came into play, and Brooke Jensen, his hand seemed to be quite okay afterwards. So a little bit of trickery there by the team of Briggs and Jensen, but Briggs going over Von Wagner last night.
Yeah, so this makes me believe that, while Mr. Stone has been on strict managerial duties
Huh?
for the past couple years, looks like this could possibly get him back as a in-ring performer.
We need to see that. We
Yeah,
really need to see that.
I mean, or possibly a six-person tag match or into 6-person intergender,
Yeah.
or right, mixed 6-person mixed, you know what I'm trying to say. Because we also have Fallon Henley and Sophia.
Hmm.
Yes. So that's something there that could possibly happen, because we haven't seen Sophia wrestle either. She's just been pointed,
No.
but it's been very, very powerful.
And
They
WWE
said it.
seems to be more open, to that. I mean, we had that on the pay-per-view last week with Judgment Day, and
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Judgment Day is a mixed stable. So we're seeing more and more of those pop up, and we almost had a straight up intergender tag match last night with the whole Chase U situation. So yeah, I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility right now for WWE. What I personally think was match of the night was up next. Nathan Frazier going up against Santos Escobar, who is now in the employ of Tony D'Angelo. Now, I thought a nice touch with this. I really liked Tony D'Angelo on commentary. I don't think we've heard enough of that, and it was a really nice added effect to this match. Nathan Frazier would pick up what is probably the biggest win of his NXT career after Santos Escobar had a little moment of consciousness right there
Yeah.
and refused to use the crowbar that was thrown in the ring. Kind of reminded me of Hangman Page a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Nathan Frazier with the win over Santos Escobar. Linda, your thoughts on this?
Yeah. I mean, just interesting to see how Escobar and all of Legato actually, now being a part of the D'Angelo family, I
Yeah.
believe that was what they were called, how they would be presented now that they are part of that family, or employed, if you will, by Tony D'Angelo. Uh, Looks like there was cooperation, because they are technically part of the D'Angelo family, except the only part that wasn't reciprocated, if you will, was that crowbar. So
Yeah.
obviously, still some shenanigans going on between Legato and the D'Angelo family. I know they're one unit right now, but there's got to be some more stuff going on there. That's just I think I might have said this in a previous episode, that Legato would be with the D'Angelo family, but later some type of
Yeah.
stipulation will come in where they can get out of it.
Yeah.
But for a couple weeks having the shenanigans with this, but I look forward to that. But all in all, I'm really liking Nathan Frazier, and I believe the
Yeah.
NXT universe does too. What a great talent! Every match he's been in has been quite top notch, and of course with Escobar always putting on a great match. That definitely was a good one last night, and I liked how there was that moment of consciousness, right, conscience.
Conscious, yes, that's what I meant to say. And then I said consciousness, but that's not. But I just said it quick enough, and I hope nobody would pick up on it. But no, I did get
No,
that wrong.
I know what you meant, and I said it wrong. But yeah, no, I think that's good.
But technically, Linda, he was conscious. So I mean, it was a moment
Yes.
of consciousness. So he was conscious, and he listened to his conscience, like Hangman did a few weeks ago. So I wonder maybe he and Hangman are like pals or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I think Nathan Frazier Escobar last night. The style of that match was very reminiscent of NXT Black and Gold for me.
Mm.
This was it was more of an independent style of wrestling that we haven't seen necessarily a ton of on NXT 2.0. I think this was absolutely a match that stole the show. This would take us to our middle segment of the night was actually Braun Breaker, who retained over Joe Gacy on Saturday. He comes out and basically asked who was next. Call it an open challenge. Call it, who's his next contender going to be. And I don't think a lot of people saw this coming, but this call was answered by none other than Apollo Crews, who apparently has gone to the same finishing school that Kofi Kingston went to some years back, because Apollo Crews, no accent now.
Yeah, I mean, he no longer has Commander Aziz, and yeah, I thought about that too. Like, okay, it's the Apollo we had from NXT, which is great, but I mean, how great was it seeing him smile like that? Because he has a
Yeah,
great smile to begin with,
yeah,
and there was, before he became the other Apollo with Commander Aziz, he was always smiling, this and that, and it was, he was a face, and I don't know if it was going quite as strong, the hence that heel turn. but having him back here, and I felt it too, and obviously he stated it, that energy, missing that energy. So great to see him there. I think it's great having a talent from the main roster regularly inserted into NXT is great as well. I mean, it just does wonders for both of them.
Yeah, he felt comfortable, and it seemed to really click. And honestly, I was pretty impressed by the response that he got, because last in NXT in 2016, I believe, was what they said on commentary. So, I mean, that is, what, if, let's see, 6 years ago. I mean, so they definitely welcomed him back with open arms there, and he seemed to really, vibe off the crowd. So I'm interested in this. We got just a few years back. Everybody kind of thought that Finn Balor was going to NXT for a cup of coffee. That really became a second Finn Balor run as NXT champion that was really substantial. That was a really good piece of NXT. So, is he here for more of kind of a Natalia role, or is this basically a rebooking of Apollo Crews? Because I think Breaker, I just keep wondering at how many more opponents he's got in NXT as champion, because I feel like he is a guy they could pull the trigger on, at any time really for that main roster. So when you see somebody like this come down to NXT, it's not necessarily a given. It's just to do the favors for Breaker. So it'll be interesting to see, where this goes, especially with that response that he got, because Breaker's getting a positive response, but there's not many people recently that, and I know it was a surprise, and I know that was a little bit of that shock value, but that was a significant response that Apollo Crews got last night.
Yeah, one thing I noticed too is, like, different from when Dolph was down there. He straight said, I want to go for that title, whereas Apollo says down the line or down the road or something to that sort. So it makes it sound like Apollo will have a longer stint there versus, when Natalia was there, when Viking Raiders were there. Dolph, hey, they had a great program, him and Braun, and he got the title for a short stint anyway, but obviously he wasn't there that long at NXT, whereas Apollo, you brought up a good point. I didn't really think to compare that this run could be, comparing it to what Finn Balor had on his, run back at NXT. Sure. But I feel like this one could be a longer one. I mean, again, this would be so much better for Apollo right now. Anyway, obviously the crowd already loves him. And I mean, recently what we saw him in one of the Battle Royals, like on SmackDown, or he was part of the 24/7 training, I believe, as well, like on Raw. So I think this is something great, boosting morale and spirits, and just having him work with the guys again. It's a no-brainer. Everyone benefits from that.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you who else everybody benefits from, or something else that everybody benefits from, is us not trying to guess about what to call Gacy's group anymore. Yeah. Now, I kind of settled on Druids, or, we call Gacy and Pals, but I believe we got an official name last night, and they are actually going to premiere in ring next week. Gacy's group is apparently called the Dyads, I believe.
I mean, that's close to what you were calling.
Yeah, Druids, Dyads. Yeah. Like, I need to look up the origin of that word. I'm not familiar with that term. So
I wonder if it does have to do with like fraternity hazing, because that's what it looks like to me. Every time I see them, I think of like Revenge of the Nerds or any other movies where there is a
well, are they gonna wrestle in the robes next week?
I don't know.
Like, are we gonna get to see, or maybe it's somebody we already know. Bray Wyatt's supposed to be coming back, right? Maybe he's one of the Dyads.
Well, I was thinking too that maybe they were going to reveal themselves last night. Yeah. I betcha it's somebody we already who haven't we seen? Grizzled Young Veterans.
Yeah,
we haven't seen them in a while. Yeah. I'm thinking it's somebody that we would be familiar with. I would think that's why their identity has been so private.
Interesting. I would like that, because We've got a little bit of the newcomers there with Tony D'Angelo's family. So, two people that are kind of repackaged, I would prefer right now, as opposed to just two brand new talent on NXT, because we get, quite a few new talents there, pretty regularly. So I like that idea. Last night would also feature the breakout tournament finals between Tiffany Stratton and Roxanne Perez. We had kind of said here for several weeks that we felt this was Roxanne Perez's tournament to win. We were, in fact, correct. Roxanne Perez picks up the victory in what I thought was a very good match. It's very short-lived. She's soon interrupted by Toxic Attraction, who would end up a fight would end up breaking out between her and Cora Jade that had come down to ringside to congratulate her, and Indy Hartwell would come to the rescue to kind of even the odds a little bit. So it looks like we are going into potentially a program with these 6 women.
Yeah, I agree that this tournament was not created, but just meant for Roxanne Perez, as we saw a great win against Tiffany Stratton. I love Tiffany Stratton, by the way. She's one of my favorites in NXT, and her stepping in, even though she wasn't originally in it, her getting in and really getting to show she had a great program.
Yeah.
Leading up to this with, just going in with Roxanne. So glad to see Roxanne Perez win. And I kind of figured when we saw before the match, it was like her, Cora, and Indy. I'm like, we usually don't see Indy Hartwell with them, and now we know why, because we are going to get that 3-on-3 next week.
And make no mistake about it. I mean, even though she didn't win, I think featuring Tiffany Stratton in this tournament unexpectedly. I mean, Tiffany Stratton's a star. Yeah. It is it's a well done, easy to dislike gimmick, and her in ring work. It's been outstanding thus far. I think she is definitely winning the tournament or not. I think she is somebody to keep an eye out for in NXT 2.0. Now we don't see him in ring a bunch, but another reception that I was absolutely blown away by last night was the reception that Andre Chase got in the NXT universe, going up against Pretty Deadly in what ended up being a handicap match after Bodie was taken out backstage. Now, we would have somebody come to the aid of Andre Chase, somebody who was just accepted in the Chase U last week. And her name is escaping me right now.
Thea Hale.
Yes. A week from graduating high school, she's in Chase U and she's on the apron trying to be tagged in. Now, this would not happen, but a very interesting segment and a very interesting match, I think. Pretty Deadly were just too much for Andre Chase. They got the victory here, but a match that I really enjoyed. And my goodness, to me, watching Andre Chase wrestle in his Chase U sweater in the NXT, universe there, that to me is, I think, the epitome of kind of what they're trying to do with NXT 2.0 right now. To me, the Andre Chase reception right there worked for what I think this product is trying to be right now.
Yeah, for sure. And I will say, on a side note regarding that, 2 weeks ago when I was down at OVW, we had a house show where I had a similar stint that the Hale had. And I know it's common to have somebody at the apron and, somebody slapping somebody. But when I watched that, it was very reminiscent to what I had done at one of our house shows in Georgetown, Kentucky 2 weeks ago. I was at the apron and I slapped one of our heel commentators, Shannon the Dude. That was my opponent.
So she did this after you did it. I mean, might we have some pro wrestling plagiarism here?
Oh no, but it was just very reminiscent. I wanted to see her in that match, but then I was like, well, does it technically have to be declared an intergender match for her to have actually been in the match? But that's okay. It looks like there's going to be more between Andre Chase, Bodie, Thea, and all Chase you really. Against Pretty Deadly, something along those lines. But looking forward to that.
No, I mean, I honestly, I think in some capacity, Chase U needs to be featured in ring each week. I think that is a unique aspect of NXT 2.0. Now we would have another women's match on the card. Alba Fire getting the win over Tatum Paxley. Very High risk maneuver Alba Fire used to pick up the win. However, she would soon be attacked by Lash Legend. So apparently we are going the Lash Legend Alba Fire right now.
Yeah. That's a program I didn't see coming about, but I thought with Nikita Lyons being out, I thought that her and Lash would have something further on. But that's, we got Alba Fire on a roll right now. Let's get her in a different program. What a singles program we have here with Lash Legend, who they're obviously,
absolutely.
boosting
and I
as
think,
well.
and this is really the first program I think Alba Fire's been in since coming back. I mean, she's wrestled these matches, several matches, but I don't think we've had an actual feud here. So I it's something for both of them to do for the time being. Our main event would actually feature Solo Sikoa and Apollo Crews going up against Carmelo Hayes and Grayson Waller. The finish to this would see Apollo Crews picking up the win over Grayson Waller, much to the delight of the NXT universe. I think this was a wise move. I think pairing these two was a great move. Solo Sikoa and Apollo Crews are, at least as of last night, two of your most over talents there in NXT. So I think this was a good move, and it added a lot of excitement, in the studio audience, which hopefully translated to the TV audience.
Absolutely. I was thinking his mystery partner was going to be Cameron Grimes, but it was not. Apollo. That's great, though. Again, just a lot of energy. Solo and Apollo as a tag team, that was tremendous to see as well. So good things happening now at NXT. But can I jump back to the promo, how you've been mentioning, the one with the subtitles with Giovanni Vinci or something along those lines. So I was hearing that promo and I'm like, that voice, I'm like, I was like, I don't know if that's the talent's voice, because I thought it was like a female voice this whole time. I'm like, I'm not really sure what's going on. But then at the very end of the promo last night, we got to see the face. It was Fabian, formerly of Imperium. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Interesting.
So repackaged and rebranded. So when we were talking about, the repackaging, rename, rebranding at NXT, dare I say, would they do that for Cameron Grimes too?
Ooh.
I'm not making him the Italian Giovanni Vinci here, but I don't know.
It could be effective, and I think you would have to do it in a heel perspective, because it would have to go the route of, basically where things have gone last month with the NXT audience. That's very interesting, because we've had slight tweaks to his character, but a complete repackaging of Cameron Grimes, I could enjoy that, because I think that you're somewhat limited now with really what you can do. I think you either completely abandon the, Cameron Grimes to the moon, got rich off of GameStop stock aspect. I think you either just completely let that fizzle out, or you try to go to a different direction. And I mean, the thing of it is, with him, we know the guy's got the chops to pull it off, whatever they do. I mean, he's showcased that over the last year and a half. So I don't know. That's not a bad idea, Linda.
Perhaps down the line. I feel like he'll be off TV for a minute, but we'll see.
Well, speaking of repackaging, there is going to be a repackaged Thursday morning show for you guys tomorrow. Joining me for a Dynamite recap is going to be Linda Kay, filling in for the man they call Meathead. Are you ready to dissect some Dynamite tomorrow, Linda?
Absolutely. I've done a few Thursday mornings, but I don't think you and I have done a Dynamite recap.
I don't think we ever have. I think this will be our first Dynamite recap. So make sure to tune in tomorrow for a first of a kind show here for you at PWR Today. Until then, for Linda Kay, this is Matthew Thomas signing off. We'll talk to you tomorrow.